Hello friendlies and welcome back. So today I'm going to be reviewing the SuperSponge. So let's get started. So I purchased this makeup sponge on the 20th of March after I saw a beauty guru review it, and she really liked it, so I was instantly sold. And I received my sponge, I'm not sure the exact day, but I know it was in the beginning of June. So I thought it was a really cool concept where they took a traditional beauty sponge but infused silicone into it so it wouldn't absorb a lot of your product. So I purchased this on the SuperSponge website and my total came out to be about $25. Now, I will say that price is rather steep for one beauty sponge. However, if you think about it, it will be saving you a lot of product from your foundation, your concealer, and other cream products, so it's probably worth the price tag. So this is the package it came in. It has the sponge, and then it also has a little scrubby inside for you to clean the sponge with. So here is what the sponge looks like. And I'm sorry if it's a little dirty, I just used this to apply my foundation today, so I'm very sorry about that. But here it is, and as you can see, this area right here is the silicone infused section. And here is the sponge it came with. And this is used to really do a deep clean of your sponge to get all of the foundation, concealer, and cream products off of it. And on the back it says that it is non-absorbent, so it gives your foundation and concealer 2 to 4 times more coverage. And I have definitely noticed that I use way less foundation and concealer to get the coverage I want, so that is definitely true. And it also says that this sponge has a longer lifespan than a traditional sponge. So I have been using this for about a week now, and I can honestly say I'm rather impressed with it. I will admit I was a bit skeptical at first, considering that there have been alternative beauty sponges like the silisponge, which didn't turn out very well. But after using this a few times, I will say that I was pleasantly surprised. And you use this just like you do a traditional beauty sponge. What I like to do is I add a little bit of water to make it damp, and then I will go ahead and apply my foundation and concealer. So one thing that I have noticed when using this sponge, it's not necessarily a downside, but it is something that I've noticed. When I use this sponge to apply concealer around my eyes, it can feel a little hard whenever I'm pressing it against my skin. Again, not a big deal, it's just something I've noticed. One thing that I've noticed that is really good about this is that it doesn't make my foundation look cakey. And what I mean by that is when I first got this, before I tried it, I was afraid that since it didn't absorb foundation, that it would just make my foundation sit on the skin and not really press it into it. Thankfully, it didn't do any of that. My foundation wasn't cakey or clumpy, and it made it look just as good as a regular sponge. So let's get to the pros and cons of this product. So pro number 1 is that it doesn't absorb products like a traditional sponge would. Number 2, I feel that it's a lot more easier to clean than a traditional sponge. Number 3, it'll definitely save you money when it comes to buying foundation, concealers, and other cream makeup products. So one downside is that it is a little expensive. $25 for a sponge, that is rather up there. But do I think it's worth it? Personally, for me, yes. By the way, this video is not sponsored. This is just my honest opinion of the product. So in conclusion, I've really been enjoying this sponge, and I definitely think it's a good investment, especially if you do use foundation and concealers on a daily basis. And I definitely noticed that it made my foundation and concealer a lot more full coverage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram, which is @DearFriendlies. I post a lot of makeup looks that I created, as well as photography. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! It's not as soft as a traditional sponge, so it can feel a little bit like I'm beating my eye to death.